I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to a late night special episode. Well, it's not a special episode.
Special for us.
Special for us. Welcome to another regular episode of the Best Thing We've Seen podcast. My name is Flo.
And I'm Gabe, and welcome to Midnight Edition.
Yeah, it's just special because, as you just said, we're recording this very late. We usually tend to do it like... around
noon?
Yeah, around noon.
Or afternoon.
We decided to do it pretty late today. But, maybe the vibe will be just that bit more special or whatever. You just told me you just brought a glass of wine?
Bought
whole bottle, yeah.
Bottle of wine with me and lit a cigarette, and now I'm in a good mood.
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm missing that little bar music in the background, I might just add that in the edit.
But now we'll have a typical bar conversation.
Yes.
At least for us, a typical bar conversation.
Yeah, isn't it nice?
Yeah,
I mean,
beautiful.
By now, we ever since the quarantine sort of has lifted, we've been able to do that now again. But also nice to have it now to be able to do it online.
Yeah,
again.
And still, we should still practice some social distancing. So
yeah, sure.
We're being responsible right here.
We are. Well, it's bars still close at like 11 p.m., right? So this is just the normal thing to do at midnight now, to have that bar conversation like over the internet.
But in like 2 days, or when this episode comes out, I think they'll be
on the
back
day.
to like 1 a.m.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, so the day that this episode is released, you'll find us in some sort of bar at till 1 a.m. rather than till 11
hopefully
p.m.
not. I have to work on Tuesday.
Anyway, how are you doing, man?
I am fine. I am kind of glad we're doing this right now because I was kind of bored right now. So
yeah,
perfect.
I'm glad that this worked out as well. So,
how are you doing? How's your week been?
Well, all right, I would say. Not particularly spectacular, but
all right. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, life, right? Anyway,
it's a bitch, right?
Yeah,
and demonetized.
I heard that because you just said that. I think did I tell you that before? There's like this song lyric that's like, "Life is a bitch, but I'm glad that I met her."
Yeah,
you
told me about that one before. Yeah,
just remember that. But I'm excited to hear, especially what you'll have to say and what things you've seen this week, because once again, it's been a slow movie watching week for me, or show watching week for me. I just can't wait for the cinemas to open back up. It's just going to be so much easier for us, and we'll have more to talk about. But how about you? Did you watch a lot of things this week?
Not a lot, but like the last couple of days, a couple of things came out.
Yeah.
I think one thing we both saw. We talked about it last week.
We talked about it last week.
We teased it.
We did, yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Okay.
Just to see where you're at with this particular piece.
Yeah, I mean, if you're new to this show, basically what we do around here is we pick the one best thing that we've seen all week. That could be a movie, it could be a TV show, or just a YouTube video. That's it, nothing more.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about this beforehand, so I don't know what Gabe's pick is going to be. He doesn't know what my pick is going to be. And I mean, other than just picking the one best thing, we also like talk about the other things that we've seen, and just, the regular old banter that you just listened to for the first couple of minutes. So I watched two things this week.
All right. Two new things.
Two new things. Yeah. No,
right.
Two new things. Yeah. Because I kind of, after watching the first thing, I was like, I might need to watch something else in order to. But we talked about this before off air as well. The show is called Best Thing We've Seen, so you're not going to watch a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 every week. There's going to be some weeks where everything that you've watched is sort of, maybe not as good as you'd hoped, but you still got to pick the best thing. And to be honest with you, I don't know which one of the two things I'm going to pick. I still haven't decided yet.
That's interesting because I watched something as well, and I think we both saw the same thing.
Yeah,
like we just talked about. But
yeah, we don't need to talk around beat around the bush anymore. Last week we mentioned that the new Spike Lee film
Joint,
but sorry,
as he calls it.
Yeah, as he revealed in quite an epic way at the end of the film. I love that, where the last thing you see, a Spike Lee joint. Thank you, Spike. I forgot what it was for a second. But yeah,
it's like its trademark by now. Like M. Night Shyamalan has like a cameo each film. Yes, that's him.
Well, it's not just him that does that, right? But yeah.
Right, but he's like famous for it.
Sure. Well, Hitchcock.
The way he does it. Yeah, Hitchcock especially, but Hitchcock is like, he's like,
he was
in a Where's Waldo picture. No, Hitchcock. Like in a Where's Waldo picture. He's like somewhere in the background.
It's true.
And M. Night Shyamalan gives himself quite a prominent role in most of his films.
Well, yeah.
Not like a leading role, but
sure.
Kind of integral part of the plot most of the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Some of the time, I would say. But yeah.
Most of the time, he's the kind of guy who reveals something to the other person.
Yeah. Fair enough. But speaking of that Spike Lee joint thing, I think there's one of his films that doesn't have that tagline, which is the Oldboy remake.
All right.
Because the studio sort of took away the edit from him. I think that's the reason why. But I'm one of the few people on this planet that enjoyed this remake. Even the director is not a fan of it, but
I just saw a trailer and I thought it looked god awful. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen it.
Well,
I should give it a fair chance.
But yeah. Well, I think everyone else pretty much dislikes the film, but I like Brolin and Olsen, and I like that film, but it's not. Obviously,
good actors don't make a good film.
It's got a good director as well.
Of those.
It's just a great story. I mean, obviously the original needs to be credited for that. It's not like he did anything there, but
my problem is when they remake foreign films and they're not good, it kind of takes away the experience, because especially Oldboy has quite a interesting plot with a lot of twists and turns. Yeah. And if you see the American remake for the first time you see Oldboy at all, kind of the whole thing gets spoiled for you, because then when you watch the original, it won't be as good for you. So, I don't know. I'm not a fan of remaking those kinds of films into US films, especially when they're, not good. Well, sure. It just takes away the experience for everybody.
Sure. No, of course, I would definitely tell everyone to watch the original first. I had seen the original when I watched the remake, so
yeah.
I knew what was happening. And they did a little bit of they changed some minute things that I thought were quite interesting, but it's nothing compared to the original, of course.
Yeah.
So, do you want to, before, I think it's my turn to pick, or my turn to start this week. I think last week.
So, you want to start off with talking about the thing that we both watched, the new Spike Lee joints.
Is that going to be your pick?
The Five Bloods? It's not. It's not going to be my pick.
It's not going to be your pick. Well, okay. I thought it was going to be your pick. Nope. I'm just going to now decide and say it's not going to be my pick either. But let's talk about it.
All right.
Yeah, obviously it's called, I think we just mentioned it's called The Five Bloods. DA, Five Bloods. We need to pronounce it that way. Please.
We're legally obliged.
Yeah, we're obliged. Could you give a quick summary?
Yeah, it's about 4 Vietnam veterans, 4 African-American Vietnam veterans who in the year, I think probably 2019, 2020, go back to Vietnam to get the bones of one of their fallen comrades. And in the first half an hour or something like that, they reveal that they're not just there to get the bones of the remains of their friend back to the USA. They're there to get some gold that they left there.
Yeah.
And
they hid it somewhere when they were in the jungle back in the war, and now they're coming back to find that. Yeah.
And the movie kind of switches between the current day things that are happening, how they're back in Vietnam, and then switches to kind of flashbacks.
Yeah.
Which is one very important part about the film that I want to talk about with you. Because in those flashbacks, which is a very, very strange choice, and I don't think it's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
They use the same actors. So
I knew you were going to say that, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's supposed to be, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's supposed to be like, what, 50 years? More than that.
I mean, it's like, they said that, I think when they left Vietnam, it was 1971. So it must be like 49 years later.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because the young fallen soldier is played by Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther. I mean, I think he's actually a lot older than he looks, but
still like in his 30s at most.
What, in real life?
Yeah.
No. I'm going to blow your mind for a second. I'm going to
Really?
Google this. Yep. He is, oh shit. Okay. 29. No.
All right.
No. He's 42.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, I thought he was even older than that, but
From like mid to early to mid 30s, but all right.
yeah, he looks
good for him.
He looks very young, yeah.
Well, I guess that's the case with most Marvel actors when they work out like that. Or what's his name from Shazam?
From Levi? Zachary Levi?
Yeah, he's also way older than he looks. Or Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, yeah.
Zachary
He's
Levi
a
is
good
like in his
example.
40s as well.
Yeah, no, I know, absolutely, fair point, yeah. But I completely agree with what you said, because the main actors, the veterans who now are going back for that treasure, they must be like in their like 60s, 70s, something like that.
Like 49 years later, maybe in the 20s. So like in their 70s, which is so weird. Such a weird choice.
Such a weird choice.
Why would he do that?
Yeah, because I don't even think they de-aged them or anything, right? It was just
nothing at all. No.
Yeah. It was very strange.
At the very end of the film, they show a photo of all of them, and then they're de-aged, or they used younger actors that look exactly like them. But why would he do that?
No, I think it's them, right? It's just a little bit touched up, the pictures.
Probably, yeah. But why would he do that?
I don't know. I don't know.
It added nothing to the film but a sense of confusion and absurdity.
Yeah, it felt very weird, and I always have that issue when actors are supposed to be different ages in films. Very rarely it works for me, even with makeup and stuff, because I think it always looks fake. But now they didn't even bother. It was like,
especially with such a huge age gap,
some 60-year-olds running around supposed to be like 20. I don't know. It's just a bit weird, yeah.
And the thing is, like, the film has a very absurd tone, kind of like Black Panther at times.
Like Black Panther?
Yeah, Black Panther is turns kind of absurd at moments, but it's supposed to be kind of funny but real.
Sure.
But this film has the same feeling in their present day scenes, more or less. And then the flashback becomes so weird and looks like a cheap action film with way too old actors.
Yeah. I agree.
Like the way they shoot and run around, and I don't know.
It looks very, very
cheap.
I don't know if gimmicky is the right word.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like, I don't think it looks like a lot of other films, which is something that could be seen as a positive.
B movie.
Yeah. I was wondering if they shot this on location. And even, I haven't looked this up if they did, but just me wondering isn't a good sign, because there's obvious nods to Apocalypse Now. There's nods to, you can list the influences that this film has, and they, there's even an Apocalypse Now like poster when they're in the club in the beginning.
But did you watch until the end of the credits?
Yeah,
because then there's a photo of the whole production crew. Or there's a video.
Of them saying
wrapping the shoot. Yeah, and it makes me think they shot it on location, especially because a lot of the crew seem to be Southeast Asian.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, but I'm sure they shot some of it on location. But it just, for me, some of the scenes, and as you said, some of the flashback scenes of them like fighting when that plane crashes in the beginning, that just looked like it was shot on a green screen. But maybe I'm just completely wrong here.
I think it looked more like a cheap filter. Like
maybe that's it. Yeah,
they did it with a cheap camera. I mean, it's kind of supposed to look like it's done in the 60s, I guess. Or maybe that's kind of the point. It's supposed to look like a cheap 60s action film.
I don't think it's supposed to look like a cheap action film.
I think it's supposed to look kind of cheap, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of, it has to be on purpose that it seems so freaking absurd, right?
I don't know. Maybe we're just, because the critical reception of this film is pretty much great.
Yeah, I don't know why. I thought the film. What did you think of the film as a whole?
Yeah, I thought it was. It sounds harsher than it is. I thought this was fine. I wasn't the biggest fan of BlacKkKlansman, the recent Spike Lee film, even though I enjoyed this. Even though I enjoyed it much more than I did this film. And it's growing on me, BlacKkKlansman. The more I think about it, I would actually like to see it again because I thought it was, now thinking about it, I think it's actually better than I remembered it.
It's pretty good on a rewatch, except the ending. It seems kind of worse.
The preachy ending, yeah, and it's also
no, just yes, kind of the preaching, but towards the film before they show the clips.
Okay, I thought you were going to talk about the clips.
No, there's a scene in the movie where it's like everything is happy, everybody is kind of all right now, and that scene made zero sense. I don't want to say what it is because it's like a major spoiler.
You're talking about BlacKkKlansman though now.
Yeah. Okay. When they're in the bar towards the end, I don't know if you remember the scene.
I don't now, no.
All right. If you see the film, everybody that's listening, if you see the film towards the end, like the last 5 minutes of the film, they sit in a bar and it's a very kind of happy scene, like, we gotcha scene. That's all I'm going to say. You're going to know what I'm talking about when you see the scene. It just makes no sense with one of the people especially involved and what they said in the beginning, because like nothing can be right, like the system is broken, then now everything's fixed. I don't know. Made no sense to me. But
I need to
all in all, it's a great film.
Yeah. But
it's just that scene that kind of put me off.
Yeah. But didn't you think, or I don't know if Spike did it in BlacKkKlansman as well, but what did you think of this whole like PowerPoint style element of the Five Bloods, where it's like they talk about a certain character, person, and it's just like a picture that is on the screen. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're talking about that event, picture of that person. They're talking about Aretha Franklin. There she is, Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
Like, it reminded me a lot of Big
style.
Short and stuff, like an Adam McKay film, a recent one, where that's also like all this information, just like literally talking to the audience, like very, very literally, just like this is the person we're talking about. I thought it was kind of odd.
I might be wrong. Doesn't he do that also in BlacKkKlansman?
No, that's what I'm
saw
saying.
it recently. Now I forgot.
I think he does. Yeah. But I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of Spike Lee's films to my shame.
What's kind of weird, I think a lot of people haven't seen that much of him, because I watched the trailer of BlacKkKlansman. Not BlacKkKlansman, The Five Bloods, after I finished watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And every 30 or 20 seconds in the trailer, it says, from the director of BlacKkKlansman, from the writer of BlacKkKlansman. And just says BlacKkKlansman over and over. Yeah, sure, but he made so many well-known films, like Malcolm X or something like that. Sure.
No, yeah, sure, but it's more like nowadays the younger audience, they know BlacKkKlansman and they don't know Do the Right Thing or whatever. That's just the way it is. That's just the way that the marketing sort of works now. If they say this is the director of He's Got Game or whatever that movie was called, no one's going to know who the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, look at the app. He's Got Game. Is that I think he got game. Yeah, that's Spike Lee. He got game.
What have you seen actually from Spike Lee? Because I've only seen like 3 movies.
I don't want to go through that walk of shame because I haven't seen a lot. One of my favorite Spike Lee film is 25th Hour. I love that film.
All right, sorry. I've seen, including Five Bloods, then I've seen 5 films.
Yeah. I have not seen Do the Right Thing from beginning to end. I've seen, I would say the majority of it, but I haven't seen it from start to finish.
It's so weird to think that he's done 25th Hour and Oldboy because they seem so incredibly different from his other films.
Of course, Oldboy is my favorite. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've seen Inside Man. I like Inside Man.
It's also Inside Man's also from Spike Lee.
That's Spike Lee, yeah.
All right, I've seen more Spike Lee films.
more. Yeah,
but he hasn't done a whole lot of films, did he? I mean, he did some music
overall,
videos, if I'm not wrong, and some like NBA, or like basketball stuff.
Yeah, that's He Got Game.
All right.
Yeah. But he's done a lot over the years. I mean, he's been working for I don't know how many years. He's done well, on Letterboxd it says he's done 73 things, but that's like including everything. But
like his first film was what's called
Chirac.
No.
That's like a recent one.
Like his first big feature film where he also acts.
Do the Right Thing. She's Gotta Have It.
She's Gotta Have It.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Have you seen that?
Yeah. It's like my only old Spike Lee film that I've seen.
Oh, you haven't seen Do the Right Thing either?
No. I've seen like I can't say it.
Have a sip of wine.
Another one?
Yeah.
Almost second glass.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
This is going to be the longest episode ever. We need to start sort of
Right,
we're not
we're like half an hour in.
We're not even talking about the best thing.
But it's all right.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was just. I wasn't trying to rush you. I was just genuine.
No, you're completely right. Before I drift off too much, but yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the film. Just of the story. Many things just didn't seem, I don't know, believable or just.
What did you think of Paul? Because he is now
kind of annoying.
He is very much sort of now. I've read a lot of people talk like saying that he should be in contention for an Academy Award. It's early, but a lot of people are very, very impressed with him. I think
he's got the strongest performance in this film, definitely.
He's got
it's like the most
interesting character as well.
Yeah,
Delroy Lindo is the actor's name.
But can he be? He can't be in contention anyway, right?
Why not?
Because it didn't release in theaters.
I think they changed that. This year. And they
for Academy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right, for this year. Yeah. Makes sense, yeah.
I don't even think it was because of this whole quarantine. I think they did it before that. I think they, even before this whole thing happened, or maybe just after, I don't know, but they allowed like streaming movies to be in contention as well.
Interesting. But not TV movies?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Right.
But they did some changes recently, like they're like it's got something to do with like checking or like dividing the year into like quarters and then sort of checking the catalog every quarter year, and then to not have the movies that are released early in the year sort of be forgotten once the nominations come out. Does that make sense?
I think that's a great thing to do. Yeah, because every freaking Oscar film comes out in like November, December. Absolutely.
With the exception of Get Out, because that was like, I think that was released like at the beginning of the year, and then a whole year later it was
huge hype behind it.
Yeah.
But I think that decision was, first of all, it's good for the guys who make the films, who have the films in contention. I think it's just good for the consumers. Yeah. Because that way we get good films all year round, not just in like the last quarter.
I think people are going to, like the production companies or the distributing companies are still going to release their, like most of them are still going to release them at the back half of the year. But
well, if it's a new thing, I guess so. But maybe in like the next couple of years it might change.
Maybe. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to talk about, like to summarize The Five Bloods like so quickly now, because it's a long film. It's 2.5 hours long, and it's as you said, I didn't love it, but I liked it. I mean, it's got some like the guy who says she, Isaiah Whitlock Jr. I mean, he's made a living just from that word. I mean, it's he even says it in the film as well. And I thought the actors overall were pretty good.
I think somewhat better than others.
Somewhat better than others, I would agree.
Yeah. The funniest thing is like top billed actors on like IMDb. Number 2 is Jean Reno.
Yeah.
That guy's got like less than 10 minutes of screen time.
Sure, but he's one of the most well-known actors out of that cast, I would say.
Yeah, I guess so, but still, I don't know. It kind of feels weird to have him that high up. I think like top billed actor is still Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of the whole talking to camera thing with Paul towards the end? Do you remember that?
I thought it was kind of cool at the beginning, but then they dragged it out for too long, in my opinion.
So would you say that, would you agree with him being sort of award worthy? Long pause.
Yeah, I think he's kind of in contention. I think he did a great job in his role. My opinion might be kind of foggy, if you can say that, because I thought the film was all right at best. Yeah. No, just my opinion of the film kind of might change my opinion of his performance.
Sure.
But the more I think about it, yeah, he did a great job, and especially in those scenes towards the end.
Yeah.
He did a great job. But then there are other scenes which seem so ridiculous that it's hard to take him serious.
Sorry.
Yeah, please.
Would you agree that the best scene of the film is the one that involves a rope? Because I've seen a lot of people mention that.
It's the most exciting scene.
It is the most exciting.
And I would love to know if that will work in real life, but it's impossible to check, I guess.
Right, but when it was happening, I was like, that's kind of smart. You know, that makes sense. I'm sure that that's based on reality somewhere.
It kind of makes sense, but also, like, would it really work?
I don't know.
That doesn't seem like enough time.
That whole scene, I was like expecting that thing to happen the entire time. Yeah, you know,
that's like the thing that happened before that with one of the crew. I knew that it was going to happen just the way he behaved.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's what I'm saying. The whole time you're just expecting that to happen, and it happens. It's like, but then there's like that the way that that's shot, like, because the thing happens, right? And we're not spoiling it. I mean, we're kind of talking around it, but it happens.
We're very cryptic in our episodes.
Yes, we are. We don't want to give it away.
Yeah.
But the thing happens. I was like, okay, there it is. It happens now, right? No, I wasn't like shocked or anything. Okay, there it is. But then they showed the aftermath, and I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, what in the world?
It also seemed too extreme, man.
Yeah, and
it seems so ridiculous. Like that. That's how it would look like. I don't think so. Like,
yeah.
No.
I mean, let's move on. But maybe we'll just once we get it off, like, because I've seen it today.
Right.
Maybe we can, like, next week. Well, that's going to be a special episode, but maybe we'll get to talk about it again once we sort of. I don't know. I just feel like we need to move on now.
All right. Just by process of elimination, what's your best thing that you've seen all week?
So the best thing that I've seen is a movie called Vivarium. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly.
All right. No idea.
Well, here we go. Another film I've been looking forward to, and it's now finally available on Amazon. You can rent it for like $4. It stars Jesse Eisenberg. That's the reason why I was excited. And it stars also Imogen Poots.
What?
She was in Art of Self-Defense. The girl, you know, do you remember?
All right, yeah.
I'm so sorry because I'm obviously butchering her name because I don't know how to pronounce it. But she was also in a film that I think is vastly underrated, but I also forgot what it's called now. Hold on, I'm looking on my Blu-ray shelf for a second. It's called That Awkward Moment. The Zac Efron, Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, I think you've told me about this film, yeah.
Yeah, she's also in that. Anyway, this is a weird episode today. Vivarium, right? I might butcher that name as well. What this is about is Jesse Eisenberg and her and Imogen Poots. They are a couple, and they're sort of looking at houses, and they're going to, like, the, you know, they're what's it called in English? The guy who sets them up with apartments. Help me out for a second.
No, the Jesus.
Not the landlord. The
no. I was also thinking of the landlord. No, it's the real estate agent.
Right. That's the one. So they go in to an real estate agent, and he wants to show them a house. So they're driving in that suburban area where that house is, and they're showing them a house. First of all, that real estate agent is one of the creepiest guys I've ever seen. But right. Like intentionally, because this is actually a horror film, and I didn't know that. I was
like a serious horror film?
Not a serious. Well, there were some genuinely terrifying moments in this, where I was like, this. I was like, what in the world is going on right now? But I didn't expect it. I thought this was like, because just to set up the premise. They're going to the suburban area there. No one else is. There's like so many houses. Like every house looks the same. They're just like porch on porch, right? All next to each other. Just a fence separating them. And they all look identical. And no one else is in this whole suburban area. And they're looking at this one house. And then they're looking at it, and then the real estate agent just disappears. So then they're obviously creeped out. And then so they want to take their car and drive away. but they are stuck in a loop. They always come back to the house that they left. Does that make sense?
Yeah. All right.
That's all I'm going to say. That's sort of the
Dude,
premise.
That sounds incredibly cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because I've thought about like loop.
Yeah.
Like things that go in a loop.
Yeah.
And movies and video games. And
you like those, yeah. What's the
just
one you like?
some things were announced that also like feature a loop.
Some things
and
were announced?
Yeah, a video game and something like that. And now that you say a movie that kind of goes in a loop makes it sound incredibly interesting to me right now.
What video game? With the PlayStation 5 reveal thing?
Yeah. It looks terrible.
What did you think of the... You don't like the design?
What? The PS5?
Yeah.
Amazing. I love it.
Oh, but you dislike the design of the game?
Yeah, the game, it looks kind of cool at the beginning, then they show
I know the one you're talking
returnable
about.
Or something.
The orange one? Where that's like this orange font where they like... he has to...
No, it's a she.
No, but they showed one game where there's also a loop. I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah,
now.
I think there are multiple
the alien one. You're talking about the alien one.
Yeah.
Right, but at the end they showed another loop one where he has to like kill 7 people or something like that. Do you remember that? And he keeps also I don't know what it's called.
No, I'm not sure. No.
That game looks sick. Anyway, this is I'm so sorry. This is going to be the most confusing episode, which makes sense because of the movie that I'm talking about as well.
If you're listening to this episode, you maybe should also grab a glass of wine or something like that. Might be more fun.
Now, 30 minutes in. So yeah, that's
we'll put a disclaimer at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, we will.
Might be better drunk.
Yeah. Yeah. So the premise is that they can't leave, and then things happen, right? And it's like it's not great because I got to be honest here. It's not a great film, but once again, the premise sort of sold me there. It's like The Platform, or it's like
Groundhog Day.
Sure. I was thinking of films that we talked about in the podcast, but I was just sold on the premise alone, and I'm a big fan of Jesse Eisenberg, and and as I said, I was surprised as to how scary it was at times because things are like very, very weird at times. There's no like jump scares, none at all. It's just a kid is involved then who is incredibly
creepy,
weird.
Dude, I hate fucking creepy kids.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
It really scared me at times. But on the other hand, it was just so ridiculous that it sort of, I was able to, step away and not like really be immersed in the scariness of what's going on. I was just like wondering the whole thing of how they're going to resolve this thing. And then, they resolved it. And it was like, yeah, okay, that's one way of wrapping it up. I maybe would have preferred a different one, but I also
that's
saw
what
that
we talked about the last episode, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to expand on that just for context?
No, because we talked about unfulfilling endings and how it can change our views of the whole film.
Sure. We talked about that on every episode, I feel like.
Yeah.
Unfulfilling endings. But yes, if you're a fan of these sort of weird premises, then I would definitely recommend Vivarium because the premise is really, really great and interesting. And they do make some decisions that are really, really great. And there's some twists and turns that that you don't see coming in the way that they are actually shown. You're always like thinking, what's going on? Could it be this way? Could it be that way? You're not going to be flashed like, oh my God, I didn't expect that at all. But the way they actually reveal things is quite cool and scary at times. But yeah, it feels like we talked about the first film like 20 minutes, and now this one's going to be like 5 minutes. But as I said, the week has been, for me, both of those films have been sort of decent, and they've not been great. But I'm going to give Vivarium the pick of the week just because...
we talked about the Five Bloods first.
No, I think I was gonna do that anyway. I always like to sort of talk about films that maybe not a lot of people have heard of, and I think this might be one of those films. So, if the premise is interesting and you're also a fan of the actors, check it out. The real estate agent is incredibly creepy.
It kind of pains me that the Five Bloods is not going to be my pick of the week.
Yeah, I'm excited, dude. What's
looking
your
forward
pick?
to it? My pick is, I think I also teased the last episode, is something animated. Because a new season came out of something. You know what it's going to be?
No. I remember you talking about it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is going to be another thing. I have no idea what it's going to be.
No. I mean, it's the 4th season of F is for Family. And I love that show. If you don't know what...
It's a Bill Burr one, right?
Yeah, right. And that's like the first thing that I saw of Bill Burr. And then I kind of saw him as a stand-up comedian. Then I connected, it's the same guy as from F is for Family. And since then, I'm a big fan of Bill Burr's stand-up and podcasts, etc.
Yeah. I remember you talking about F for Family on one of our first podcasts because we talked about Bill Burr.
Yeah, it could be, yeah. But it's a great show because it kind of mixes being serious and being funny in a good way, and not such incredibly preachy way, but just it's like Bill Burr humor. If you're into that, because he voices the main character, and it's some things that happen in the show are kind of based on his childhood.
Okay.
Growing up in the late 70s. And he voices the father, and kind of a little bit based on his own father, like as kind of a dad who kind of keeps losing his cool and keeps screaming at his kids. And it's a comedy. It's very funny at times, but it's also quite serious about a father who wants to be a pilot, but now he works in an airport and never became what he wanted to be. And he and his wife are kind of not that happy with their marriage, but they seem very happy with each other at times, but he keeps losing his cool, and she kind of keeps nagging him, as he says. And it's a great show, and it's a kind of a great way to kind of drive forward the show, introduce new characters, very fitting characters, and yeah, they show way more of the background of some characters and of him. And in the 4th season, we finally see his dad and how he treated him, and kind of explains why he's such an asshole to his kids. And
right.
Yeah, it's a show worth checking out. I don't know if you've seen any episodes of it.
No, is this the last series? It's the last season now, or no?
It's
it's the last one. No,
it's ended with quite a cliffhanger.
Right, you love those,
but in a good way. It's like it could end at this very moment, and it would be kind of fine.
Okay,
but there's still some things unresolved. And the thing is, like, it's like 10 episodes per season. Right. I think it's perfect length, and one of the characters is voiced by one of your favorites, Sam Rockwell.
Oh wow, I'm intrigued now.
Yeah, and his wife, and the wife of Bill Burr's character, is voiced by Laura Dern, and their son is voiced by Justin Long, and there are some other famous voice actors in there, like Allison Janney makes an appearance, and other people.
And they've been in the show like from season 1.
Well, Laura Dern and Bill Burr and Justin Long, yeah.
Okay,
and Sam Rockwell as well, yeah.
Okay.
He's like the hippie neighbor. Well, not hippie. He's like works for a radio station. He's like this coked up music producer.
Right.
He was kind of very alternative, which is kind of the counterpart to Bill Burr's character Frank, who is like this conservative, very unhappy guy, and his neighbors this go-lucky guys. Like, everything's gonna be fine. Come on, do some cocaine with me. He's like, you fucking hippie, get a job. But yeah, dude, it's a great show. And if you like Bill Burr stand-up, you're going to find a lot of his jokes.
Yeah.
Not the exact jokes, but a lot of his premises and what he makes fun of, you'll find in this show.
Yeah, I remember, didn't you say, you told me recently that you watched the stand-up and you like knew every joke because that was the special that we saw live?
Yeah.
Was that released like recently?
Special, yeah. It was released like about 6 months ago, I think.
Gotcha.
It was released like in November, October.
Okay.
Like a bit more than 6 months, but yeah.
But you didn't know that was the same program, did you?
I didn't. I was looking forward to it so much, and I hoped it's going to be a great show, and then I watched it and I was like, all right, so I kind of knew that joke from somewhere, and then another one, and the ending is different, because the ending in our show was just amazing. The joke that he left with.
Sure. I thought you were going to say like he didn't thank Vienna in the Netflix
That as
special.
well would have been beautiful. I hope he's coming back, and Paul Verzi as well, who's like the warm-up stand-up for Bill Burr when we saw him in Vienna, and it was great.
He was
and
great,
he talks about Paul Verzi quite a bit on his podcast from time to time.
What was the ending of the show when we saw it?
He talked about it, how his daughter was born, and now he has a son. Like last month for a couple of weeks, he got a son now.
Congratulations.
But, yeah.
Bill,
and anyway, he talked about. I don't want to spoil the joke. If
it's not even the special, is it?
Yeah, I guess. Oh well, okay. Anyway, he says, his daughter was born. He's like a mother becomes kind of a mother when she's pregnant. They kind of got this bond with their child, and he was kind of worried that he wasn't gonna love his daughter. Like it's just gonna be a child because he isn't a big fan of children. And then his daughter was born. He's like, oh right, I'm a father, but it didn't really click with him. And then a couple of hours later, he finally got to hold his daughter, and when he held his daughter, he thought to himself all the bad things that could happen to her, and he kind of saw her whole life play through and how people might mess with her. And she thought about, I think, some boyfriend who's gonna treat her like shit or something like that, and he just thought to himself and said out loud while looking at his child, and the nurse was walking by, "I'm gonna fucking kill you." And the nurse kind of saw that. I was really freaked out.
I remember that now, yeah. That he didn't put that in the special?
No, it was the perfect way to end the show.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the biggest laughs of the night, and then he left.
I wonder why he didn't put that in. It's just too harsh?
Maybe, I guess.
I mean, it's on Netflix, isn't it? I mean, they usually don't
can
have
say
any
whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well, they live tape a show from somewhere, and maybe he thought it wasn't right for the audience. I don't know.
Could be, but I think they like cut together certain recordings as well.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of stand-up, and I'm kind of disappointed because like 2 stand-ups that I started watching, and I tried to find more clips of them on YouTube, and every clip, no matter if they're like 1 or maybe 3 years apart from when I were in different shows like Conan or Jimmy Fallon or one of the live shows, they always have the same jokes.
Yeah.
Which kind of disappoints me. I guess, it's not easy to write a whole new set for everything that you do, and especially when you're like in a late night show, you're going to do the bits that you already have to kind of show them what you got. They're not going to do a full set.
Yeah.
But pretty much every clip
we show the
was
best
same
stuff.
thing. Yeah.
Who did you watch?
No, I even saw one, like the whole thing from, I forgot his name. The guy that I showed you when you were over at my place, like a couple of weeks ago.
I need to watch this guy. That guy was
He's
hilarious.
great. He's great, yeah.
I forgot his name as well.
Everything on YouTube is like the same jokes he did in that set, except for one story that he tells.
Okay.
I found one clip where he talks about something else, but other than that, same material.
I wrote it down. Hold on one second. It was Sam Morril.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Morril.
Morril. Sorry.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Great guy. Check him out.
Yeah. Well, we had like 3. We were 3 friends all sitting. We we watched it when we were at your place a couple of weeks ago, and I was worried that he might only be funny because we had some beers.
He's
but
also good sober.
Yeah, that's what you told me that a couple of days ago.
Yeah, like 2 days later, we met at a friend's place to cook and have a little get together of friends. And on my way there, I listened to some of his stand up. I told you this. I listened to some stand up with my headphones while I was on my way there, and I just had the audio and walking along the street, and I started laughing out loud. I was on the street and kind of tried to hold it back, and I think it looked like I was holding back, that I was going to cry or something like that. And people looked at me very strangely, and I was like, all right, I gotta stop this. It looked ridiculous, but maybe one more joke, and I listened to it again, and I started laughing again, just biting my lip and doing weird noises, trying to hold back my laughter. I was like, all right, I gotta listen to some music or something, because
it's just the biggest endorsement you can give. Because I remember that you mentioned that. I was like, that's got to be good. So yeah, I mean, let's check him out. I need to check him out as well.
Yeah, please do. All right, have you seen anything else this week?
No, I've talked about the 2 things. I'm now just going through my mind as to what we haven't discussed about the Five Bloods, because I feel like we talked about basically nothing. Just we went through Spike Lee's filmography, and that was it.
But
there's so much to discuss.
Like 20 minutes about it. Yeah, but it's a fine film, but a lot of the things that happen you kind of see coming, and it's kind of confusing, especially one scene at the end with Otis when he with his daughter. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but it seemed like I wasn't sure it's like a dream sequence or it's supposed to be real. It seems so incredibly fake.
I don't want to bash an actor's performance, but the way that she cried when they hugged.
It made it seem like a fucking crazy person.
It was like an insane person. It was like
so weird.
In
Get Out.
In Get Out, yes.
But they say exactly like the mother. The housemaid.
The housemaid, the maid from like Get Out. Exactly who I was thinking. Maybe it's the same.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's exactly who I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
But
so weird. Yeah.
Yeah. And also like last words on that movie, just the coincidence of them finding what they're looking for. It's just like a guy's taking a shit. There he is. We found what we're looking for. Then walk 5 more steps. Oh, here's the other thing we've been looking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, maybe the movie was even longer and they cut certain parts out of that. But yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling.
The film is 2.5 hours long, and it seems like not really a lot happens except like the last half an hour. It's all right. Well, I mean, it has some interesting scenes, but switching between the flashbacks. And in the beginning of the film, it starts with some clips, right? And it's kind of real life clips, and they showed some real photos and video of Vietnam, and so show some dead people getting shot for real, and people dying. And they showed they showed a picture of a dead baby, like its jaw blown off or something like that. And I don't think that this film, especially with like the level of seriousness that it has, is not the right place to show such pictures, because it's kind of an insult to the memory of like the dead children. I mean, I get what Spike Lee tries. I mean, he tries to kind of convey serious messages with like humor, but I think that those scenes were not appropriate for that film.
But I don't think that this movie is nearly as funny as like BlacKkKlansman. I don't think there's a lot. I don't think they went for a lot of humor in this. There's like,
I mean, it's just the absurdity of all those characters you already know, and
sure.
Like, well, just the scene with what we talked about before the rope and everything like that, the way they portrayed, or like later, like how they portrayed people dying is they portrayed in quite a comedic and over the top way, nearly like Quentin Tarantino or something like that, and then comparing it to other like real violence that happened.
I know what you're saying.
Didn't seem appropriate.
I know what you're saying. I just don't think I didn't think of it as them going for humor in those situations. I agree that they were like a bit over the top at times, but yeah, if they went for humor, then they missed. For me, at least. But if you're a cinephile, you're going to watch the movie. I mean, it's a Spike Lee joint, and I think it's worth checking out. I would say that. I mean,
and I think that kind of explains why we called it a joint in the last episode.
We're not talking about. I think everyone got that. I mean, maybe not. I don't know.
I
depends. I don't know.
When you talk about a joint, especially in like non-American,
sure.
Not in the US or something like that.
But we forgot to mention as well, obviously, the Five Bloods. It's on Netflix now. It came out
it's a Netflix film.
On Friday the Friday before this episode comes out.
The 12th,
Yeah, and you do you have anything else you want to just mention real quickly that you've seen? Yeah,
I've seen one more thing that I'm kind of getting into, and a new season is coming out in like 13 days. So the episode after the next one, we might get a chance to talk about it, which is Dark, the German Netflix show,
the Netflix
which I've been putting off for such a long time because it's just so hard to get into German things. Okay, let me just start off by saying it gets better with time and the plot gets better, but at the beginning of the show, some of the actors are just horrendous.
Okay.
I don't know if it's just there's a different style between American acting and German acting. German acting is way more, it's drier.
Okay.
It's not so over the top as American acting.
Yeah.
But just apart from that, there are like 2 or 3 actors who do a great job, but especially in the beginning, they seem so, you can just picture them being in front of a camera and them rehearsing their lines.
Right.
But I don't know if it's just, if they get better with time, because some of the actors are quite young and might be one of the first big roles, and I guess
Sure.
they get more experience, but some are older, but the acting seems to get better. I don't know if it's just my imagination just getting used to it, or if they're actually better. But I talked to somebody like half a year ago, like end of last year, and he talked about the show, and he said, I said, how is it? And like, because I'm not big into German shows or movies. And he said, well, the good thing is they don't talk a lot.
Yeah.
And that's true. They do not talk a whole lot, which
Right.
kind of makes it better because there's some quality in silence at times. But yeah, and they have some special effects and they don't seem amazing.
Okay.
They seem very animated, but I guess it's kind of a circumstance of the budget.
I'm
So
sure- I
you
was
can't
gonna
hold
say-
that against them. Yeah.
I'm sure those effects are going to get better every season now as the more budget comes along.
Yeah. Well, from season 2 to 1, there wasn't a huge improvement, especially the special effects get more intense with season 2.
Right.
And I hope like season 3 is gonna come out, and I'm like at episode 5 of season 2 now.
Okay.
And I hope it's gonna end with season 3, maybe 4. Like it seems like season 2, a lot of the questions we have, because it starts off quite cryptic, and then more and more things get revealed. And at the point where I'm at, a lot of things have been revealed. There's a lot of questions still open, but I hope they're gonna clear them up and towards the end of season 2, beginning of season 3, and then they're gonna end it, because that's not a show I think you should drag out for too long, and I don't see how they could, because there's like kind of an ultimatum, especially towards season 2.
Right.
And if they kind of drag it out still, it's just gonna seem wrong.
I'm sure they'll find a way to drag it out.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope not. And there's one more thing that I want to talk about. I rewatched a film. I know it's kind of a long episode, but I just want to say I rewatched a film, a big film. That's The Dark Knight Rises.
Big film. Yeah.
I haven't seen this film since I saw it in the cinema.
Yeah.
It's not a good film. I thought
You're opening a box of like so much
Yeah.
conversations to be had.
I know, but there's just so many scenes. And there's one death scene towards the end of the film, and I'm just gonna say it. So listen away for like 5 to 10 seconds. It's a death scene of Morril, cont'd,
Yes.
and it's incredibly cheap. And you can listen again if you're out there.
How would they know if they can listen?
Yeah. But the thing is, I can't really hold it against. It's less a fault of the actress, because it just seems so wrong. And I know she's a great actress.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just a bad take, but I think it's the fault of the director, Christopher Nolan, that he said, all right, that's a good scene. Let's cut it there. Let's do it. It's the worst death scene that I've ever seen. It's so cheap. It like looks straight at the person, and then in less than a second, close their eyes and kind of tilts the head down like they're dead. It seems so cheap, and there's so many flaws with this film, and I really love The Dark Knight, like everybody does. It's a great freaking film, and I really like Batman Begins. I rewatched, and it was better than I remembered it, but I was like, all right, Dark Knight Rises, there are some cool scenes that I still remember from back in the day, and I thought, all right, it's gonna be cool to rewatch it finally. So disappointing, so disappointing.
I
many
remember
flaws.
liking that movie a lot, and I rewatched Begins and The Dark Knight recently, like a year ago, and I've not watched Rises. I haven't seen that since the theaters either. But if you look up, there's a YouTube video called "Terrible Acting: The Dark Knight Rises." Marion Cotillard, Sunday Drive and Death.
Yeah,
you're not alone in that opinion.
all right. Well, now you've spoiled it. This is
Dude,
the way for like 5
Are you
seconds.
kidding me?
But yeah.
I will put it in the time codes. We'll be
All
fine.
right.
We'll be fine.
But
Anyway,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
There are the multiple instances of bad acting and like bad choreography. That's the word.
Yeah.
If in the big fight scenes, because I already knew what's gonna happen, I kind of looked in the background. If you just look a little bit what the actors do in the background, it seems so incredibly cheap, which is so disappointing for such a big budget film. They must have like a ton of people in the background doing this, looking that everything looks all right. And I mean, there are a lot of pictures who do that, like I'm sure a lot of people who work on that and do a great job with looking at everything seems all right. Nothing seems too out of place, but I don't know. I mean, it's Christopher freaking Nolan. I was like, what a great director, and the times he is, but other times I'm not sure what he does. He seems like he focuses on just the one thing in frame and everything else is like forgotten. I don't know. Maybe I'm ranting too much, but
I don't know. Well, Tenet's coming out now, end of July. They just they pushed that back, and I cannot wait for that film.
Yeah, now I'm even more interested in seeing it. Just now that I've seen Dark Knight Rises, I'm like, all right, what's Tenet going to be like? Because there are a couple of films from Christopher Nolan that I'm not a huge fan of. Namely,
you're opening
Interstellar.
boxes here. Yeah,
I know. Let's save this for another time.
Yeah,
I know I'm one of the
best
few people
thing
who
we've
hates
seen from Christopher
Interstellar, but yeah.
Yeah, it's divisive. Well, it's same with Dark Knight Rises. I mean, a lot of people hate that movie. A lot of people love that movie. But yeah, it's like the Five Bloods,
I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
People are loving that film. They really are.
Yeah, when I log the film after I watch it, because we both log our films on Letterboxd and IMDb. There were like 70 ratings live on IMDb because I watched it on Friday, shortly after it came out. Right. And I just saw the Metacritic score, and I saw the rating before I watched the film, and then after, and before and after it dropped 0.8. It was 8.0 and then was 7.2. I don't know where it's at right now. But yeah, I'm surprised by the Metacritic score of like 80, 82 or something like that.
It's got a 7 right now, 7.0 on IMDb. And by the way, just to wrap this up, I think Vivarium has like a 5.9. So 5.8. Don't judge it by the rating. It's decent. It's decent. I'm going to edit it. Dude, we've been going for an hour. This is literally like 1 hour now.
Well, it's the midnight special.
It is the midnight special, yeah. The midnight gospel.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What a film.
What a show.
No, what a show. No, I was thinking of the midnight.
Meat Train?
No. Midnight.
Paris. Midnight in Paris.
No.
What are you talking about?
The film that we saw on the sneak with Michael Shannon.
Midnight Special.
Midnight Special. Well, yeah, Midnight Special, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's the Midnight Special. All right, let's wrap this up. All
right.
Thank you for listening, first of all.
As always. Thank you so much.
Next week we'll do... We'll have another special episode, like our 20th episode as well. Not only a special episode, but also the 20th episode. Hopefully, that'll be exciting and good. And you can always interact with us on Twitter at Best Thing Radio. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already to see all the great new cover art, cover design that every new episode now has. And spread the word. Spread the word, please, if you know anyone.
I just want to say shout out to all new listeners. Thank you for joining us. And shout out to all old listeners, because I know there are a couple of you who watch pretty much every episode or listen to every episode. So thank you so much for your support.
Absolutely.
It's great.
And let's do another midnight special soon, because, the conversation just flows,
It's alcohol.
We're opening all those boxes now, and I'm like, keep them closed for next week.
There's so many things I want to talk about, but there won't be time.
We'll find time. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I hope so. All right.
Thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week. Stay safe.
Yeah, what a pleasure. Bye.
Bye-bye.